Hello, welcome. I'm Master Chef Anand, and
I'm Chef Nikki.
And we're going to show you a nice recipe that we decided to send out to everyone. If you're part of the Master Prophet's Blessing Plan, you should have gotten your recipe, should have gotten your box of vegetables. So we want to show you this nice idea of how to utilize some of those beautiful items in that box. So this is a really good recipe. It's really simple, and Nikki's going to introduce us to the ingredients that we're going to need for this recipe. Nikki?
Okay, so for this recipe, we're going to use some sweet potatoes. This is what a sweet potato looks like that's already peeled. I've chopped up 4 sweet potatoes because we're actually doubling our recipe today because we have a lot of people to feed. So the recipe calls for actually 2 sweet potatoes, but we're going to use 4 today. And we cut it up so that it will be uniform. We have 1 red potato, which is already chopped. And I have some delicious beets. Chef, you know these beets are from the chef's garden.
Yes, these beets include the golden beets, the candy cane beets, and the red beets. So that's going to give you some nice vibrant colors. It's going to look really amazing on the dish, and it's certainly, you know, part of our philosophy here at the residence of eating with the rainbow. So.
Yes. And then we have some red onions and some garlic. Okay. Also we have black pepper, Himalayan salt, which is really, really good for you. It puts back the minerals into your body. And we have grapeseed oil and some granulated garlic.
So just a note, the recipe that you may have seen calls for extra virgin olive oil, but again, I just want to kind of let you guys know that you can use extra virgin olive oil, but however, I like to use grapeseed oil if it's, you know, if we're going to cook, you know, then use olive oil if it's going to be used to finish, because heat changes the property of olive oil. So grapeseed oil actually has a higher smoke point, and it's a very neutral flavor. So we're going to use the grapeseed oil to cook in this part. But you're more than welcome to use extra virgin olive oil in the recipe as well. All right, so Chef Nikki's going to cut up. She's going to show you how we cut the onions and how we cut the garlic, nice and thin. So what we're going to do is cut the onions and garlic, and that's going to go into one bowl. The potatoes will get cut into certain sizes. That's going to go in a separate bowl. And the beets, they also get cut into a separate, you know, all around the same size, but they all get into separate bowls. All right, so we have our beets nice and quartered. We're going to add that into our big tossing bowl. Thank you, Nikki.
You're welcome, Chef.
And then we're going to add our seasonings. We add a little bit of the garlic powder. We'll add some pepper. And then again, when you season, you want to season high so that you get even disbursement of the seasonings. Like we said yesterday with the Master Prophet, let it rain from the heavens.
And it's raining. It's raining.
And then we have our grapeseed oil. We're just going to add a little bit of that. You just need about 2 tablespoons of oil to coat that. And then we're going to just give this a little flick of the wrist, toss it. I like to use this method because it's easy, it's quick, you know, and I don't have to dirty up another spoon. So yes. This is what we're going to do. Just give that a toss. Right? Yes. So that's nice and coated. Then we'll add that to this pan here, spread it out so that it has space. All right. And then we're going to bring this over to the oven. And
okay,
we're going to roast
400. The oven was already preheated to 400 degrees.
And I'm putting that on the top shelf so that it'll get some nice color on there. All right, so that's going to roast at 400 degrees for 15 minutes, and then we'll show you the second phase of the dish.
Yes. Hi, and we're back. So Chef just took the beets out of the oven. They were roasted for 15 minutes on 400 degrees. So Chef,
we're going to add these back into our bowl.
And we're also going to put in the sweet potatoes. Chef, we have
our red potato seasoned with, and we have our onions and garlic already ready to go.
Yes.
Everything's been seasoned. So we have all the components all together now. And this is where the fun is.
Yes.
We're gonna toss this again. So we wanna get this going.
All right. Look at that flavor that's going. So all the ingredients is being mixed together. Wow.
All right,
Nice.
we got that tossed. And now we have 2 sheet pans that we're going to
Yes.
spread this out.
I'm gonna get a spoon, chef. Okay. So chef, we're just spreading everything out
Why we spread it out like that, Nikki?
because it's gonna roast evenly. If we keep it together, it's gonna steam instead of roast.
That's right.
So we want it to be evenly
You want to
spaced
give it
out.
give it some room to breathe.
Yeah.
Let it do its thing in the oven, and that way everything will be nice.
Make sure your hands are clean.
Of
so
course,
chef's hands are very clean.
My hands are clean. You can trust.
Yes. We constantly wash our hands, sanitize our hands. You also don't want to have any cross-contamination. That's why we constantly are washing our hands. So now that everything is laid out, we're going to put this back in the oven, before, and we're going to roast this for 45 minutes on 400 degrees. The oven is already preheated, and we're going to put this in. Okay, chef?
Yeah, let's take it to the oven.
All right. So we have it on the convection
Yes.
for
so
400.
the convection means that there's circulating air. There's a fan in the back of the oven that's going to help move the air around the oven and keep it nice and even. So a lot of other ovens may only have the heating element on the bottom or the top of the oven, but the good thing about convection ovens is that they disperse the air throughout and circulate it. And so with that said, if you are using a convection oven, you can just check the time or the temperature. Usually, if you have a recipe that calls for, say, 425 degrees in a regular oven, you can probably go about 400 degrees in a convection oven. So that's something to keep in mind.
And we've just set the timer for 45 minutes. So the timer will go off once it's finished. So we'll show you the finished product soon.
Come back soon. All right, welcome back. I'm Master Chef Fernand. This is our final product. So this was in the oven at 400 degrees for 45 minutes. And you want to keep an eye on it, depending on how you cut your vegetables. You just, the important thing is, like we said before, is that no matter what size, whether you like them chunky, whether you like them small, try to keep them all consistent so they cook evenly. And, our onions got nice and caramelized. So we got some good color. This is a wonderful dish. And what I suggest is that you don't just think side dish with this. This can be a main course if you wrap it into a wrap, and it could be a nice plant-based wrap for someone. Or you can, definitely pair this with some rice and salmon, so to speak. So just think outside the box, have fun with it, be creative, and we hope you try it at home, and we hope you let us know how you like it. All right, so until then, remember, food is the medicine of the future. Take care.